Merry Christmas and welcome to 12 Report with Blessings Musugu, and these are the headlines. Nigerian government applauds US airstrikes amid fears, criticisms from some northern leaders. Christians in Nigeria join rest of the world to celebrate Boxing Day. Mud debris spread across Southern California as heavy rains trigger flash floods. We've got the details in a moment. We start out now by telling you that a U.S. congressman has described the recent airstrikes in northwest Nigeria as a turning point, calling them the first concrete step towards ending deadly attacks on Christian communities. Congressman Riley Moore says the coordinated operation between the United States and Nigeria sends a clear warning to extremist groups fueling the country's security crisis. Now, Moore emphasized that President Donald Trump has drawn a firm line, insisting the killing of Christians in Nigeria must stop. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed the strikes were carried out with full cooperation from Nigerian authorities as part of a broader counterterrorism effort. Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs says the operation reflects growing international security partnerships aimed at defeating terrorism and restoring peace across the country. The Armed Forces of Nigeria has said the recent coordinated U.S. airstrikes on ISIS in the northwest demonstrate federal government's unwavering resolve to confront terrorism. U.S. President Donald Trump says the Christmas Day operation was ordered to halt persistent attacks on civilians, particularly Christian communities. According to U.S. African Command, the strikes carried out with Nigerian authorities killed multiple ISIS fighters in Sokoto State. The operation comes amid heightened insecurity just a day after a deadly bombing struck Maiduguri in Nigeria's northeast. Nigeria's defense headquarters says the airstrikes underscore a renewed resolve by the country and its partners to confront terrorism and restore lasting security. And now for more on this developing story, we have Dennis Amatri, the former Assistant Director of the Department of State Security, the DSS, a professor of politics. We also have Kenneth Nweke and a conflict resolution stakeholder in the north, Abubakar Kankara. Welcome, gentlemen. All right, let me start off by asking, from a security standpoint, how significant are the U.S. airstrikes in weakening ISIS operations in northwest Nigeria?
Well, thank you for having me. We've been waiting for this. And of course, they've been preparing for this. Remember, there were flights that were carried out, reconnaissance flights that were carried out consistently last week. And then, of course, this was coming up. I think it serves a lot of purposes. It serves as a warning that the killings have to stop, and I'm happy that the Nigerian government is of course, working with the United States government to see that they cooperate in bringing this to an end.
So how do these U.S. airstrikes reshape Nigeria and U.S. diplomatic and political relations?
Well, I think it's an improvement because you remember we were designated as a country of particular concern. And then, of course, their president has been making a lot of statements, and Nigerians were worried. But with the visits we had to Washington, and of course, congressmen coming to Nigeria, and, this shows that the IC relationship is actually thawing. And then, of course, to cement all this, we've been wanting for somebody to help Nigeria in dealing with this insurgency for 16 years. And then, of course, the strike yesterday, I think, was a move forward for our relationship with the United States.
All right, I think we have Professor Kenneth Weke with us. So let me just quickly ask, Prof, what are the domestic political implications for the Nigerian government accepting a foreign military intervention?
Ordinarily, thank you so much. Ordinarily, for a sovereign nation like Nigeria, what it means is that Nigeria is unable to deal with its internal issues and only to wait for the United States of America to take a lead. It domestically, it shows a weakness on the part of the government in being able to handle its internal affairs or internal crises, that have affected the country, over time. And so for me, this is not very helpful in terms of building the confidence of Nigerians who ought to have so much pride in the country being able to handle its own affairs. After all, recently something happened in Benin Republic, and then Nigeria swiftly moved. And so could we have moved, when we didn't have the military might to have done so? So if we had all that strength, so why have we not been able to deal or handle these issues over time, and only to wait for the United States of America to take a lead? And domestically, it shows a weak government, and then does not represent what sovereignty, means to the citizenry.
All right. Again, I think that we have Abubakar with us. Thank you very much, Prof. Abubakar, if you can hear me, how might local populations in northwest Nigeria perceive foreign-led military action on their soil? All right, let me direct that question at Amakri. How do you think that those in the north will perceive, the foreign-led military action on their soil, especially considering that even though they're targeting the attackers, it's a very risky move?
I am not very, I don't support that idea of where people will say that our sovereignty has been violated because we actually invited the United States to come. Terrorism is a kind of threat, security threat that cannot be solved alone. Even the United States, sometimes they need outside support to fight terrorism. And of course, the United States coming to help us is something that we have always looked for. There are people who go to look for mercenaries to come and help them. We've done that before when Jonathan was president. And it's foreign intervention, whether you like it or not. But this one, we invited them to come. And I think it's okay. Now, for the people that have been affected, I think it's a breath of fresh air for them. We still don't know the casualty rate or whether there are collateral damages in that area. But the thing is that, well, they should be happy because many of them are in IDP camps. They don't go to farms because of these terrorists, and finally somebody is coming to, clear them out. I think the local people will be very happy.
Okay, Amakri, let me still stay with you. Could the increased U.S. military involvement change the balance against insurgent groups, or would it signal deeper security challenges?
Well, one thing I know is that as it goes on, this is just a warning strike. This is the first one. There is going to be more strikes. There's going to be more strikes. And of course, as Nigerian military work with them closely, it will at least help us, because in terms of ISR, intelligence, surveillance and recon, which is very, very, very important. And I think that was what they were doing last week before they started this. With the Nigerian government, there is exchange of intelligence, and then of course the allowance for us to use some of their satellites. I think that's a very big plus for us. So let's see how it turns out. At least in 3 weeks, or should I say in about 2 months' time, we should be able to start realizing the benefits of, or the impact of what is happening now.
All right, let me come back to Professor Kenneth now. Professor, President Trump framed the strikes as protecting Christians. How will this narrative affect Nigeria's fragile religious balance?
Yeah, of course, it would, as it were, even deepen maybe the animosity which may be already existing, but not too open, so to say. But I do know that in Nigeria, we've been living very harmoniously with our Muslim brothers, to be honest, and there hasn't been so much of issues between us, amongst us. There haven't been so much of issues, but the manner of the attacks, represents or to suggests that it's suggests a religious genocide against Christians. So, but with the intervention of United States of America, of course, for those who also do not see it exists, and then for the ordinary Muslims who are not having anything against the Christians, of course, nothing will happen. But for those who have taken to criminality and suggesting that there is an issue between the two religious groups, of course, that will send some strong signal that it shouldn't be so. It may deepen their own animosity, against Christians in terms of increasing their attacks if they do have the opportunity. But attacking their bases and all of those who would depopulate them in a way and probably exterminate them or raise fresh moves for further attacks that may not be known, but with intelligence that will also be on. Those things are going to be, tackled. But my worry here is what is new? Is it that we don't have air strikes here in Nigeria with the military to have been able to do what the US had done, last night? Is it that we don't have those? Is it that we can't bomb places? So if we can't, so how have we been spending? What have we been spending our funds over the years, for? So except you're talking about maybe donating their satellites or some other equipment that are highly sophisticated in tracking these guys and all that. But even at that, so why have we not been able to also explore these exchanges over time, in handling this matter? So what is different in the airstrikes? That's what anybody should be able to let me know, here now. That would make the difference in terms of, the responses from the state.
All right, thank you so much. Our guests are still with us, and we will definitely continue this conversation. But in the meantime, I need to go on a short break. You're still live with us on 12 Report. We'll be right back with more on this and more stories. Hey, thanks for staying with us. You're still live with us on the 12 Report, and we still have our guests here discussing the airstrike conducted by the U.S. and the possible relationship that this is starting to have, but also the impact, on the North and, of course, the people of Nigeria at large. So let me come to Kankara now and find out, Kanka, what non-military approaches do you think that would or should accompany these strikes to prevent further radicalization?
I didn't get it. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So what are the non-military approach that should follow the strike? Because it should not just be the airstrikes and then we don't hear anything else. What are the non-military approaches that should follow the strike to prevent further radicalization?
Thank you very much. The issue is the Nigerian government have left so many of their responsibility against some of these citizens. But when we talk about this military airstrike, I think what should be done is the primary responsibility of the government by maybe reassuring rural schools have started functioning, the hospitals and everything, all the basic necessities of humans have returned. And especially, this issue of extremism and hate now between should I call them, some of the Fulani militia group and the vigilante group as well. So there should be a measure of maybe changing the security architecture and the cultural orientation, which has actually affected some of these terrorists by equipping them. And as well, one key important thing, if you talk about the northwestern Nigeria, of course, it borders at least two countries between Nigeria and then the Cameroon and then part of Benin Republic. So we should strengthen our border as well so that we can be able to track and control the supply of arms within from Niger Republic and Benin Republic as well. So I think the government should deploy more of the non-kinetic approach after the airstrike when the bandits have been eliminated, because currently what is happening, I think by the strike, a lot of them will run to another different location. So the government should also, as well as track all the movement of the terrorists, all the forests they have been hiding, so that there won't be any hide and seek for them. So I think the government should deploy more detective to secure the bordering state and secure Nigerian borders, Niger and Benin Republic and Cameroon borders, especially in state in Northwest, which we have seen recent the strike by the joint Nigerian and the United States as well.
All right, thank you. Let me come back to Professor Kenneth Nweke. Could this operation influence regional politics or Nigeria's leadership role in West African security?
Ordinarily, affect Nigeria's big brotherly role, so to say. Psychologically, like I said to you, if something happened in Benin Republic and then Nigeria quickly moved into action, and of course, well, did it yield some positive outcome? Yes, it did. And so, would it be the same eyes or same perception that other West African countries are going to be looking at Nigeria in terms of playing such roles? Yes and no. Of course, when it's like you are not able to deal with your internal problems, that, of course, we know that terrorism is, offshore, so to say, and then probably it is a bit difficult for any country to say you will handle. Even the United States of America, has a lot of difficulties in also handling terrorism in some places like that. Even in his own country, a lot of the 9/11 then and all of those, we see happen in the United States of America somehow, but it's different. Like what we have as we have in Nigeria, where terrorists, or bandits or whatever have taken over in a particular region and also moving into other ones to occupy. Like it is their state, so to say. So for me, yes and no. These people who come play brotherly role to say they are unable to handle their problems, and then they come here to show. Of course, such talks will come, such impressions will come, within West African region. But those who are unable to handle their problems, and then they will require some support, of course, wouldn't mind when somebody comes to you like Nigeria to help you, solve your problem, and the problem is solved. Well, you take it because you're unable to help yourself. So that's why I say yes and no. But for me, like I said, what matters to all of us here today is how can we get rid of what has, eluded, a piece that has eluded us over time. How can we get rid of this trouble, this canker one, of banditry, terrorism, and all that? So if this help from the United States of America can go a long way, I think that with intelligence as well, that Nigeria has not been able to utilize very well, even when we have numerous intelligence agencies and all that, yet we are unable to handle our problems. One way or the other, it shows that we are maybe a bit of big for nothing. But that's not where we are. What we need now is let these guys, help us to get rid of these ones. If they get rid of it, we'll come back home here and tell ourselves the truth. Nobody should pretend about it. We have spent billions of naira over the years in solving insecurity or solving security problems. Yet, we're unable to handle this problem. But just one little thing that happened somewhere, we went to show off. So what was that? We need to rethink, please.
All right, Makri, let me get your final thoughts on this. What risks do such airstrikes pose to civilian safety and long-term military stability in that region?
Could you say that again, please?
So what risks would you say that such airstrikes pose to civilian safety and the long-term stability of the military in that region?
Oh, well, thank you very much for that question. The risks have been clear. We've had the risk all along. We are the same Nigerians that have been crying about all these bandits and terrorists, and maybe we are forgetting that this has been with us for 16 years. And the bandits were actually brought into Nigeria from somewhere else, and by politicians. And these bandits have been causing all kinds of problems. I know that there must be risks when you have a foreign country come to help you. But like I said earlier, terrorism is not a threat that one country can deal with. It has always been international cooperation. And we're happy that, it does two things, this U.S. strike. First of all, we acclaimed or designated a country of particular concern. And of course, there are things that come with that. And then, of course, right now, we are trying to cooperate with them, which might even cancel that country of particular concern. But we have to be sure that this risk is over, the risk of bandits worrying us. After now, we need to look at the impact, because the root causes, the strike alone have not, addressed the root causes. And the root causes are poverty, unemployment, corruption, political instability, and these have to be taken care of. But sometimes they said, if you are not running your place very well and somebody comes to help you, maybe it's then you see where there are little holes, in your house that you need to plug in. So I still believe that it's the right thing to do. We've spent a lot of money, but all those money does not really matter much, because I keep on telling people, they will say 3 trillion naira. That translates into about 2-point-something billion dollars. The budget of the New York City Police Department alone is 5-point-something. That's more than double our whole defense budget. So what are we talking about? Let us, gauge and see how we can align ourselves, receive help when we need the help, and see how we move forward.
All right, gentlemen, this is a perfect place to wrap the conversation, but definitely we'll still put our eyes on ground to see how this goes, whether or not it goes in favor of the Nigerian government, and even if it achieves its purpose. But we appreciate your time with us on the news. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thanks.
Away from that now, the Borno community in Nigeria's northeast has buried 12 people killed in a bomb explosion at a mosque within the Gamboru market area of Maiduguri, a tragedy that has thrown residents into deep mourning. Most of the victims, traders and worshippers, were observing prayers when the explosion occurred in the busy market environment, triggering panic and multiple casualties. News Central's Umaru Kirawa now reports.
This is the Gamboru Market Mosque, where a bomb exploded on Wednesday during prayer time. Eyewitnesses say the blast went off while worshippers were inside the mosque, causing instant chaos and loss of lives. The chief imam of the mosque, Alum Muhammad, who was present at the time of the explosion, recounts the incident.
Tarwacin sanin shine ya kawo zagani har zuwa inda imam yake ma zagani duk jini da har zuwa saman Kano duk gaba kida abun ya fufo da duk mutum wanda ya zo da shi shine wannan abun ya tarwatsa jinin.
The bodies of the deceased were later laid to rest in accordance with Islamic rites as families, friends and sympathizers wept openly. Some eyewitnesses described the moments after the blast and the efforts to rescue victims.
Mun yi jana'iza mutum 12 abinda muka yi jana'izan su sauran kuma tana asibiti kuma yanzu dai mun zo bakin matsalaci mun kafa mun tsare mana jira umarni abin da mutanen mu da shugabannin mu za su faɗa mana.
Da na ji ƙara sai na ga mutane suna guduwa, to da mutane suna guduwa ne kuma sai na tinkari inda mutanen da suke gudu sai na tinkara. Bayan nan sai muka fara cire gawawwaki, wani hannu daban, kafa daban.
Survivors of the attack are currently receiving medical care in various hospitals across Maiduguri. Health officials say some of the injured are in stable condition. Religious leaders have condemned the attack and called for calm and unity among residents. Security authorities have urged residents to remain vigilant and to cooperate with security agencies by reporting any suspicious movement.
Mu gyara halayenmu mu koma ga Allah, wannan zai sa duk wani bala'i ko fitina inda ya dirka ko Allah zai takaita mana shi. Sannan abu na biyu shine da na faɗa mu yawaita wato sa ido.
The security forces, including the police, the men of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, the civilian JTF, hunters and vigilantes, among others, have already taken over the area. They have cordoned the area where the bomb exploded at Gamboru Market Mosque, where so many people died and so many people have been injured, to ensure that investigation is carried out successfully so as to avoid unforeseen circumstances from the area. In Maiduguri, for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
The Imo State Police Command and the Ori Archdiocese report that a Catholic priest was shot and injured by suspected kidnappers on Christmas Eve in Ogbaku, Umbaitoli local government area of Imo State. Reverend Father Raymond Njoku, an assistant parish priest at St. Kevin's Catholic Church, Igbaku, was attacked around 8 p.m. while returning home after unknowingly driving past the scene of an earlier failed kidnapping attempt. The gunmen, operating in a Lexus RX 350, reportedly pursued the priest and opened fire near the church gate, injuring his right hand. He survived after receiving emergency medical care and surgery. The police say investigations are ongoing as the incident renews security concerns during the festive season. Christians in Jos, the Plateau State capital, north-central Nigeria, joined their counterparts all over the world to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. At the St. Gabriel's Chaplaincy, 551 Nigerian Air Force Base, Rayfield, Jos, the chaplain, Victor Agugesi, urged the congregation to celebrate the day with a spirit of love and charity.
I used to tell people that Christmas without Christ will always lead to crisis. It's a time Christians are advised and encouraged to extend charity, help to the less privileged ones, and as we also celebrate, to make our time for prayer.
It's a period of reaching out, a period of sharing love, a period of extending our belief as Christians.
Give love. Forgive anybody that have offended you in one way or the other. Extend hand of blessings to other people.
The main reason for this Christmas is Christ. So when we're celebrating, when we're making merry, we should not forget the main reason for Christmas.
And now to the FCT News Central's correspondent Sagri Ibrahim is on the streets of Abuja. We'll join him now for updates on how Nigerians are celebrating the Boxing Day. Sagri Ibrahim, compliments of the season to you. What is the update on the area where you're in? How are Nigerians celebrating the festive season?
Oh, good afternoon, blessings, and of course a Merry Christmas to you. You can see the paint on my face. It's a celebratory spirit and a celebratory season here in the Federal Capital Territory. We're at the Magic Land, very close to the Moshood Abiola Stadium. And if you look towards the entry point there, you would see a multitude of people that are trying to access the premises of the Magic Land as at the moment. On our way here, the expectation was that maybe we would find the place a bit scanty because it's quite early in the day. Usually we expect crowds in these positions or in places such as this, maybe around 2 p.m., 3 p.m. or thereabout. But then to our surprise, thankfully we came here early and we saw that the development was much different from what we expected it to be. I'll be taking you, of course, around the Magic Land this morning to show you how individuals and people are celebrating the season as at the moment. Right now we have a family here that have taken pictures. Well, she just ran away. She doesn't want to speak, but then come with me. Magic Land is quite active today. There's music playing from left, right and center and quite a number of activities going on. You can see the rowboat area. There are children active and happy and making fun as well. And of course a big shout out to all these individuals that are here that have made the children looking, you know, as beautiful as they are and having a good time as it should be. Good morning, Merry Christmas. Would you like to say a word or two to us? We're live on News Central Television. It's fine if you're shy, but then we'd like to hear how the Christmas celebration has been to you. Can you please just turn? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you tell us your name?
My name is Roslyn Dauda.
How's the celebration been?
The celebration was so nice and beautiful. We really enjoyed this Christmas. You know, Christmas is a day of celebration, of joy, happiness, to visit our family, friends and loved ones.
You're at the Magic Land quite early this year. How would you compare this year's Christmas celebration compared to last year?
You know, this year Christmas I came in early, so people were not too much as I came earlier. Because last year I came late, so people were hooked up in this park. So right now I said let me just come early to attend this, to come to do the party with my children. Then later I'll now go to other places like that. So that's thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, blessings. The developments are what they are. People are having fun. They're having a great time. And as you can see, my face is painted. Well, I intend to have fun as well. Maybe I'll be joining them to row the boat. Maybe I will join them at the other area to also engage in the activities. Because tell me the reason why I shouldn't have fun while I'm working as well. It's back to you in the studio. Blessings. All
right, Sagri Ibrahim, I can see that not only are the people in the FCT enjoying the Christmas, you are also enjoying it a little too much. And that's beautiful to see. Thanks for the update. We're still staying in Abuja now, where displaced families gather to commemorate the festivity, holding on to hope despite ongoing challenges. And News Central's Aisha Saliu visited the Durumi Internally Displaced Persons Camp in the Federal Capital Territory and now reports.
Christmas at the Durumi Internally Displaced Persons Camp has lit up with mixed emotions. For many residents, the celebration is a reminder of both faith and loss of homes left behind due to insecurity and lives disrupted by conflicts. For 38-year-old Esther Tanko, a mother of 9 children and many other women like her, it's been a very difficult time living in the camp with limited resources.
Ruwa ma ba mu da shi, muna wahalar ruwa. an zo ɗauka mana nepa za mu yi sati 2 sati 3 ba mu da ruwa. In an zo an tara kudi ana bi shago a zo a tara kudi a kai ma masu nepa to kudi din ba zai isa ba sai su zo su yankar mana da nepa. Makaranta ma ba mu da kudin da za mu kai yaran makaranta. Yanzu makarantar gwamnati za mu je mu yi rajista yaro guda daya wadda secondary school za mu je mu yi rajista sai mun biya 50,000. Ana muna zama ga ɗakin mu wani rana ɗaki yayi zafi kamar wuta, babu fanka a ciki, babu flow a ciki, ga ruwa yana shiga cikin ɗaki.
Tun 2014 mun zo nan muna zama. Challenging kala-kala muna gani a nan. Ba mu da kwanciyar hankali. Abin da ya ɗaga mu a can Boko Haram ne. Da Boko Haram sun kore mu a can mun zo nan kuma yan uwanmu wanda suna aikin gwamnati kuma iri su task force su polisawa da su yawanci ma'aikata da suna zuwa takura mana anan.
They say the celebration was made possible through support from faith-based organizations and humanitarian groups who donated food items and other essential supplies. They are demanding improved living conditions, access to education, vocational training, and long-term resettlement plans that will enable them to rebuild their lives.
Gaskiya Christmas dai sai godiya ma Allah. Muna dan samu shinkafa organization suna kawo mana shinkafa da dan su magi da su mai da jiya kaman karfe 1 an zo raba mana shinkafa nan shine mun samu mun dafa ma yaran mu yau da safe. Gwamnati ya tana so ta yi da mu ina za mu tafi ya kamata gwamnati ta duba ta taimaka mu ma a gina mana gidaje mu je mu zauna zaman mun da anan muna yi gwamnati bai fi karfin gwamnati ba.
As celebrations wind down, the displaced families here say their greatest wish is not just relief materials, but lasting peace and a chance to return home with dignity. For them, this celebration is a reminder for their struggles and a prayer for a better future. In Abuja, for News Central, Aishat Salihu.
Now, Orokere Amuro in Mopa local government area is today hosting the Orokere Amuro Celebration Day. The event brings together sons and daughters of the community to celebrate tradition, culture, history, and discuss community development initiatives. News Central's Mono Balagugu joins us now for more. Mono, can you tell us more about this festive celebration and why it's celebrated, during the festivities a day after Christmas?
Blessings. Well, we are originally as a community. It is a community of independence and a peaceful community. As you can see around me, there is a band here that is playing. My cameraman will come and the band is here playing. And of course, there is medical churches on the spirit of those of you. And just by my left, as the camera is scanning to some of the traditional leaders who are very seated here, and I feel very blessed to have all the offer the dance of the unity of civilization, most especially the best. And one of the key things, yesterday when we walked here, the Lord the lecture that we had, and they talked about the role of the community in church. And we talked about the people, talking about information without them seeing.
And out to Martin Street on Lagos Island, where the Great Nigeria Insurance Building, housing, clothing and textile materials worth several millions of naira has been engulfed by fire. Emergency responders on Thursday battled to contain the inferno as at the time that this report was filed, and several adjoining buildings have also been affected, leaving many traders facing a bleak festive season. News Central's correspondent Israel Ifarobo, who has been monitoring the incident, joins us now from the scene for updates. Hello, Israel. What update do you have for us? We can still see the smoke from the flames.
To your blessings, yes, indeed. The building that where the fire started yesterday is still has pockets of fire here and there. If we take a look at what is on your screen right now, that is where the fire started from, and there is a partial collapse. We were actually on the ground at about almost midnight when this section of the building caved in, and we understand that, unconfirmed though, that some people were trapped in there, but we cannot confirm that. Some people were on the ground today, and they were saying exactly what I just told you, that some people have been communicating with those on the outside that they are inside, but the authorities have not said this to us. This information was given to us by those on the ground, that people may have been trapped in there because they have been communicating with them. So far, so good. The fire actually affected I've counted about four or five buildings here so far. And if you take a look at this particular building closest to the Great Nigerian Insurance House, that's where the fire started from, this building can actually cave in any moment from now. If you look at it closely, there are cracks all across the building, all across from the very top to the very bottom of the building. There are cracks all along, and the firefighters and authorities around here, the Red Cross, LASEMA, they have come here to warn that even for journalists who are covering the story, that we shouldn't move too close to this building because it can cave in at any moment from now. Well, the firefighters are at this point also still trying to put out the pockets of fire that are still remaining, trying not to have a resurgence, a reignition of the fire pockets that we have here and there. Blessings.
Despite the fact that we're hoping that there are no casualties, as yesterday I know that we couldn't establish the number of casualties, if any, but has anything been said regarding that today? All right, that's Israel Iferable with the update on the fire in Lagos Market, and we're hoping that there are no casualties, or at least there are no serious injuries, but once that is established, of course, News Central will keep you updated on the situation. Still to come, fresh protests in Venezuela as anger grows over disputed election results. We'll bring you the details in a bit. Stay with us. Now, protests have erupted across Venezuela following the country's presidential election, with thousands taking to the streets to voice concerns over the results. Demonstrators gathered in major cities calling for transparency and demanding a review of the vote count. Security forces were deployed in several areas as tensions remained high. Authorities say the election was conducted fairly, while opposition groups dispute the outcome. International observers are closely monitoring the situation, urging calm and dialogue. Now, the developments add to Venezuela's ongoing political uncertainty as the nation awaits further announcement from electoral officials.
Hacemos un llamado a la comunidad internacional para que se pronuncien países como Colombia y Brasil, y esperamos las buenas decisiones de María Corina Machado y de Mundo González. El pueblo está en la calle haciendo lo que le corresponde, peleando su voto, protestando, cansados de esta crisis que tenemos.
Remember how we've been talking about the state of insecurity and how Nigeria has been shopping for solutions left, right, and center, from internal security operations to regional alliances and, yes, cooperation with the U.S. Now, this conversation didn't start today. It's been building quietly in the background while Nigerians just want one thing, and that is to feel safe. Now, fast forward to the present moment, which is the festive season, by the way. The federal government of Nigeria has confirmed that recent precision airstrikes against terrorist targets in northwest Nigeria is part of ongoing security cooperation with the United States military. In simple terms, this wasn't a random move. It was coordinated, planned, and meant to hit terrorist camps with as much accuracy as possible. This confirmation matters because it changes the optics. It tells Nigerians that what looked like an external intervention is actually a joint effort. The thinking is clear: intelligence sharing, advanced surveillance, and technical support that Nigeria may not fully have on ground alone. On paper, that sounds like a power move, but in reality, it's a very delicate chess game. And let's not ignore timing. This is the festive period. People are traveling, visiting family, going to church, going to mosques, trying to enjoy some joy in a tough economy. So naturally, the big hope is that these airstrikes are as precise as advertised. No innocent lives lost, no accidental casualties, because one mistake can erase any security gains and reopen old wounds. It's left to discover whether or not this is in the favor of Nigeria and how this will impact the relationship between the U.S. and Nigeria, and that is your postscript. Now, before we go, let's take a look at what's happening in the sporting world. The Africa Cup of Nations has transformed cities like Fez into a melting pot of cultures as fans from across the continent celebrate the festive season united by the beautiful game. And as the tournament resumes, attention is firmly on Nigeria. The Super Eagles are back in focus, holding their pre-match press conference ahead of Saturday's matchday 2 clash against Tunisia, a game that could shake their AFCON 2025 campaign. Our correspondent in Fez, Doka, takes us through the festive atmosphere, the AFCON bars, and the build-up to Nigeria's crucial encounter with the Carthage Eagles. Udoka, if you can hear me, again, Merry Christmas and Happy Boxing Day to you. Now, Boxing Day in a predominantly Muslim country is quite unique this year. How has AFCON changed the festive atmosphere in Fez? All right, stick around for more information on, the game segment, and definitely we'll take you through all of that in preparation for AFCON 2025. But it's still the festive season, and we'll leave you now to enjoy the rest of your day. That's all on the 12 report for today. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen because we want to see what you see. Also, do also follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Gold TV, channel 23, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and, of course, YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Masuku.